years old, and throughout those years we've done things to improve the community around us, to make people's lives better. And this year we decided that we would like to give $500 to the Nazareth Food Bank, and we're able to get through the Rotary's Gundigger Foundation a matching $500. And so here is $1,000 for your work.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you all so much. So generous. So very generous. Thank you.
And now you get to speak and tell us more.
I will tell you more. But wait, there's more. Thank you for having me today. And I want to be really honest. It's organizations like these across Montgomery County that are doing the work by having organizations like mine come into the room, but all of you go out and say, oh, I know, we've had somebody from Narberth come and talk to us about this, and we've had people have a conversation with us about hunger, and I really appreciate everything that you do to invite people in to get more information for your members, and you're recording it, and I think it's amazing work. Narberth Community Food Bank has been in the community for 17 years. We were born out of the 08-09 crisis. It was slow to getting in Lower Merion, Narberth, but it did find its way here. And it started, I was the home and school president, those of you who might remember that, at Belmont Hills Elementary School. And at that time, we knew something was going on, but I was a parent, busy being a parent, and I wasn't quite sure what was going on, but we were hearing a lot of stories and a lot of things happening. And the next thing you know, we were approached to try to help the Ardmore Food Pantry disconnect some of the Narberth, Bala-Cynwyd, and yeah, it's true, and we'll get to that. I know you're all shocked, but I'm gonna give you your stats and you're gonna fall out of your chairs. To come forward and absolutely take the burden off one organization, which is what we went and did. And so we have been doing it just when we think we're about to close the doors, and it happened in 2018, 2019. We were having the conversation with our board members about dissolving the organization because everything was headed back on track. So we were thinking, oh, right, I'm gonna go read a book and everything will be back on track. Well, then you know what happened. The bad thing happened. And that was COVID-19, and since COVID-19, the numbers across Montgomery County, and yes, here in Lower Merion and Narberth, are quite high, those seeking food assistance. I'll give you some information. I know. In Montgomery County, about 66,000 people receive SNAP benefits. 66,000 people in a community, as the county. The county has about 870,000 people living here. That's a lot of people. According to Phil Abundance, and that was just yesterday, we were on this call, on a town hall meeting with them, that Montgomery County had the largest surge in those identifying as food insecure, and we'll get to that definition in a minute, out of any collar county that they serve. So that is South Jersey, that is Philadelphia, that's Bucks, that's Delco, right? We've heard this. It's Montgomery County. Why Montgomery County? Montgomery County has a large population of seniors. It has a large population of children. And here in Lower Merion, Narberth, we've had the largest, post-COVID, we have the largest increase in generational homes. So we know grandkids are living with either in grandmom's house or they're in, right? So those nutritional needs, however, for those people in those homes are very different. Seniors require different things than mom does, than the kids do, and that's where we come in. The schools, thankfully, here in Lower Merion, the schools are very strong and aware and absolutely work with us and other organizations to make sure kids are fed and that no kid has missed a meal. The state of Pennsylvania provides breakfast for every student across the state of Pennsylvania should they want it, need it, desire it, so that is on the governor. Thank you, Josh. The other piece, lunches are going to be a different situation going forward. We're not sure the status of that going forward because a lot of those dollars come from the federal government. 78% of those receiving SNAP benefits in the state of Pennsylvania work. These are not people who are just not working, that's not real. Now this is a 2020 stat, so you have to stick with me because that was like when we did the census information, so we don't have too much updated after that. In Montgomery County, the majority of white people live here. People of color is about 245,000 people. And that's not a lot. It's not a lot. When you look at Philadelphia, you look at Delco, you look at other places, the population is not minority driven here. The population is white here, as we said, seniors and kids. That's mostly who we serve. It's really something. I'm going to talk to you for a minute about cuts. You know, you've heard it a million times what's going to happen. The federal government is making drastic and wide cuts. And those cuts will be voted on for the first time on July 4th. July 4th. And we're talking about, and I'll get through it without crying, but I'll try. $290 billion with a B will be cut from the SNAP program. And so that's children and older adults and folks with disabilities. The TFAP program, which is the Emergency Food Assistance Program, has already been cut. And that is where most of the meat, dairy, eggs comes from, my organization. So that has been eliminated. Whatever is in the warehouses now is what's in the warehouses. And when it goes out to us, we distribute it. But there will not be more coming in. That's just a fact, if it gets voted on. You're looking at, oh my gosh.
It isn't in effect now. They're just gonna vote on it.
Yes, the likelihood that some amount of this package will be passed is high, very high. As of right now, when cutting, and maybe you've heard about this, the farmers, I'm not sure, am I too loud? That happens.
No, you're good, you're good.
I'm the youngest of 5, so I tend to be, project. There's a program that enabled organizations like SHARE, Phil Abundance, and Montgomery County Anti-Hunger Network to purchase produce, which is the number one item that people who come to food banks want, produce. They ask for produce. We give out a minimum of 25 pounds of produce to everyone who comes through the door. If you're a family, it goes up, it increases 25 at a time. You get me? Somebody's gonna walk out of there with 75 pounds of produce. That's a real thing. Because we know that 5 potatoes isn't gonna help, right, a family of 8, and we do have households that have 8, 9, we have a few households that have more than 9 in their household. That's here, and that is here in our community, right, they live right here, which is amazing. So that's why the produce uptake is really important to us, but that program has been canceled. So all the produce that we have received from Phil Abundance, they are now purchasing. It is not funded through any state or government program. It was to help farmers. So yesterday we heard on the phone call, all the farms that are going to be impacted by losing those dollars. It's all of those places that you and I know and recognize and love. We see them in Bryn Mawr Farmers Market. We see them out, oh my gosh, all the farmers markets across Montgomery County. We're gonna lose. We've lost them. Those contracts have ended. So produce will be greatly reduced. And that's unfortunate because this gentleman was telling me, he made a film and people were given, in the concentration camps, were given a half a piece of bread a day. And when you don't have produce, and what happens, we know what happens to our bodies when we don't get enough nutrition. We know what happens, right? We've all been told, not just lose 5 pounds, but we've also been told, you're light on vitamin D, you've got to get, we know. But that is actually more prevalent in the population we serve than it is in what you and I are eating today, thankfully. I don't scare easy. You've heard me say that. I don't scare easy. I'm actually completely terrified about what's on the horizon. So if the vote does not get taken July 4th, it will be delayed to August. You're talking about Medicaid cuts, you're talking about veteran service cuts, you're talking about elimination of the child tax credit. It is an unprecedented amount of money coming out of the federal system. It's scary. Our organization, we have cut everything that is not essential. I stopped taking a paycheck. That's a real thing because it's not worth it to me to go home with money in my pocket while people are at the door and they're hungry. It's not worth it to me. I stopped taking a paycheck. We have not replaced administrative staff that have left us. We are down to essentials. We are cutting everything as much as we can. And we never have asked for anything more than operational funds. No capital improvements, no long-term planning or development. We've never done that. Because we felt and still do feel that every dollar that we're asking for has to support what's happening today. Right now, in front of us, that's the emergency, the person who comes to the door, or the phone call as we got on Monday, as we were in there doing paperwork, someone called and said, I'm in a bad situation and we've waited too long and now we don't have anything and I don't know what to do. We said, well, come on over, we'll take care of you. And they left with 4 bags of food for their household, for their family. It's really important. There are a lot of agencies and organizations and charities who are vying for your dollars and your information and your ears and your wallet. But the reality is right here in Ballackinwood and Narberth, 2 portions of our communities have been tagged under the federal poverty window. Ballackinwood closer to the Kinwood Elementary School and closest to I believe it's St. John's, I want to say that it's St. John's Episcopal. And then in Narberth at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church, in that corridor, the federal government determines where the highest amount of poverty is, and that's both seniors, adults, and that is children. And I'm sorry, but Ballackinwood and Narberth are it this year. The largest increase we've had, 33% increase since, I'll say, November, which always has an uptick. The winter months are always higher in services needed than any other time of the year. And that has an impact. The dollars don't go as far. You felt it, I felt it. 24% increase in in food across the board. And we were already paying a little bit more, what we called the mainline bump, right? We know that. We paid a little extra for everything. Now it's 24% higher than it was during COVID. It's significant. That's a significant impact, which is why I don't take the check and why we're not replacing people, because we still need to operate and still need to have these services provided. There are some good points. So some good points are your tables each has, here, someone at home, has this flyer. We are working with the Lower Merion School District this summer, June 30th through August 7th, I believe, to provide any student, 18, if you've got teeth in your head and you're hungry and you want to eat, 18 and under, for free meals that'll be provided at the Holy Trinity Lutheran Church. Not through the church, it's our organization and the school district doing that, but the church is in that pocket, as I described, that window space where it says this is the most poverty. And if you put a center there or provide meals there, anyone can come. Lots of other organizations, we talked to St. John's, we talked to a lot of other organizations across Lower Merion to provide spaces and places for kids to get meals. The requirements are very high. If you have a program that you're running over the summer, it requires a lot more paperwork. It requires families to register, all of this kind of burdensome paperwork. In Narberth this year at Holy Trinity, anybody can come through the door, 18 and younger, and be given 2 meals. That's breakfast and lunch this year. We thought we were only going to get lunch and a snack, but they came back and said we can do 2 meals, which is extraordinary. And we still need volunteers. So if anybody wants to show up and help me wrangle some kids while they're eating breakfast and lunch, I would greatly appreciate it. We have heard no plan, and no plan from the Department of Health and Human Services at the State House, no plan from the governor, no plan from Montgomery County, no plan from local governments, no plan. And as I told the governor via text, I did. I try to leave him alone, but I do get him every now and again where I go, hey, I'm really concerned because once housing vouchers go away and Section 8 housing vouchers go away, people are going to be homeless and people are going to be hungry. And guess what's going to happen? It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out what's going to happen. It's going to get bad really quick. I know that Senator Fetterman has stated publicly and privately that he will not vote for any plan that cuts vouchers or cuts SNAP benefits. Mr. McCormick has stated that he needs more education and better understanding of the policies that are in front of him that he is very soon to vote on. This idea of pull yourself up by your bootstraps has gone away. It does not exist. I wish it did. There are plenty of people who want to do that. But a lot of folks that we're taking care of are absolutely working 1 or 2 jobs. Yeah, they have at least one parent working 2 jobs in their house. That's reality. And that's what I wanted to share with you. I appreciate every dollar, every nickel, everything that comes through the door that helps us feed people. We have only ever spent money on, and I really do mean this, the rent, the insurance, because you have to have insurance, because insurance and lawyers run the world, and what we need, computers, we need a staff person to monitor the intake and the outtake and weigh the pounds and all that stuff. We do what we do. We have 246 households registered with our organization, and we are not the only organization. And yes, we talk to them and we say, oh, is there crossover? There's very little crossover. Lower Merion Narberth has never in 17 years, never had a lot of crossover from agency. They don't agency shop. They go to where they go. These folks go to get their food, and then they go about their business. They're not interested in visiting multiple spaces and places. The more help we can get, the better it is. We participate in food rescue programs, supermarkets, Carlino's, Wawa, Whole Foods, you name it, we're picking up from it. We're doing that. Garden groups, really great. If you can grow a row this year, if you've got tomatoes in the ground, please consider those ones that you don't want. We all have those at some point. We're like, that's enough tomatoes, that's enough zucchini, I can't do it again. So please consider donating it. There's a donation box right outside our door that's checked every day. We are working with 2 growers groups locally to get as much produce as we can. The Narberth Farmers Market contributes every week to make up that gap between what Philabundance is able to do and not able to do. And what are we doing? We're pulling out all the stops with everything I can think of to try to make sure that people stay on track and are well fed and well cared for in our community. And I know that this organization cares about that as well. So thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions you've got.
Does the Acme donate food and all of the supermarkets in this area?
So Giant Supermarket has a connection to Philabundance, so a majority of that food rescue goes into Philadelphia, and yes, it comes back out to us. So yes, so that part is real. Acme Bryn Mawr participates in a food rescue program. The other Acmes do not, as far as I know. McCaffrey's Market participates in a program. They do. We participated with them for a long time, 2 years maybe. But that has ended for us because we were getting prepared meals. So the vast majority of seniors, as you know, either don't trust themselves to cook, or they don't want to cook, or cooking is too much and then you wind up with a lot of leftovers and they have, right? So we provide a lot of seniors with prepared meals, and that is through a partnership with Whole Foods. So yes, lots of them are making great efforts to participate and make sure that people are fed.
Well, what makes you think that a bill will pass to eliminate the help to individuals?
The Senate is a vast majority of those that support these drastic cuts. That's why.
It's the big beautiful bill.
It is the big beautiful bill. Yes, sir.
Tell us about your operations. Like, what time do you open every day? How many days of the week can people come to see
Right.
you, et cetera?
Got it. Guest services are on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and that's new to us. That's maybe about 2 months old. For years, we were always open on Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays. We had to make that switch because Philabundance has a new warehouse, and so they needed to switch up with drivers. So we are there, 2 guest services, Thursday, Friday, Monday. That is not to say, and it has been true the entire time I've been doing this, everyone knows where to find me. They either come to my door or they call my phone, and I go over, I open the food bank, and we feed people. That has been true for as long as the organization has been in existence. If you're hungry, we will do everything. And then we have what we call key holders in the community. People who go in, they know what the emergency list is, they know what to provide people right out of the gate, and then those folks get to go home with food any hour, any day.
And what about people who want to volunteer over on Sabine Avenue?
Sure, so-
What do they do, and when do you like to see them?
Thank you. We never turn down a volunteer anytime, anyway, any day. 201 Sabine Avenue in Narberth Borough. It's the old Narberth elementary school building. We're on the 2nd floor. We have an elevator. We are there Mondays starting at 8 o'clock in the morning for the first delivery that comes in. And we are there Tuesdays, and we're not there Wednesdays, and then we're there obviously Thursday and Friday. So volunteers begin to come in at around 9:30, depending how quickly I can unload the pallets, and others will help me unpack the pallets. So packing volunteers, paperwork volunteers, all of the volunteers, we'd love to see you. Can be there around 9:30, and 90 minutes is what we ask. If you can have 90 minutes or an hour to give, we'll take you. We'll find you work to do. There's always plenty to do, always. And there might even be some opportunities for some pop-up produce events for our population. So, thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, Gigi, thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Uh-oh, now I forget.
There we go. How soon it goes.
It's in, it's out. Thank you.
But thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for
You
your
are quite
spirited
welcome.
talk.
Thank you.
And we have a little token of
Oh,
appreciation
goodness.
in addition to the check.
Thank you so
For
much. Thank you.
Thanks so much,
Amen.
Gigi.
Thank you.